right back to kick things off at the show. I mean, we had a nice way to start it off with the celebration of Negative One's birthday. They had a little cake for him and all that. And so you knew this was going to be an interesting match when you get the recruitment specialists plus Hangman Adam Page and Cole Cabana versus TH2, which we unfortunately didn't get the true entrances that we love of TH2.
No.
But I think it was a great way to start the show. You had everyone singing happy birthday to him, and you of course had John Silver leading the celebration, which was fantastic because him on the mic was just was just great stuff. And it was great. We were talking about this today, and I really appreciated how JR was like, this is just this is his first birthday since losing his dad, so this is an important thing. It's just not another gimmick act that they're doing. It is a special thing, and I can only imagine how hard it would be for Negative One to go through this. And so it's been really great that all the love and support that Brody Jr. has been getting. I've been seeing some of the social posts with 10 is really seeming to take this big brother kind of role, it seems like. To heart, and he's always hanging out with Brody Jr. And then you have Cody as well, taking another maybe father figure role. Maybe it's just going to be his full circle. Brody Jr. will take care of Cody's kids down the line or something like that. So it's been great. And when Luther came out, I think this is the first time we've ever heard him speak on TV, and he really did cut some heat and put some big heat on him with that promo, which you need to in this kind of situation. And I loved how the announcers were really selling the cake and like, oh no, not the cake, not the cake. It reminded me of a few months or, almost a year back when they were ribbing on the Dippin' Dots, which I still have that clip where they did that brawl and like, not the Dippin' Dots.
Damn Dippin' Dots.
Yeah. So this was definitely a touchy moment. I mean, you see here 10 with Brody Jr. on it with wearing his dad's jacket. So it was a nice way to start the show. It's obviously it's not forgotten, and it's still a very delicate topic. But I guess if we dive into the match itself, it was great for me. Silver and Reynolds, man, I can't say enough good things about them. They are just so fun to watch. The show stealer. Yeah, the show stealer of the match was Hangman. He was on fire. The moonsault off the top rope and just the strength he was doing. He had both Reynolds and Silver on his back. And then I was really hoping that we would see this trio go on a little run, because that buckshot lariat, German suplex.
That combination.
I don't even know what that is. Yeah, it was awesome.
You and I both were trying to get out tweet right. We were trying to go at it together. It was one of those moments where, it showed chemistry, and that finish was awesome to watch. It was just a beautiful thing of visual, just a beautiful visual, SPD, for sure.
I agree. Yeah. And the post-match, Dark Order picking up the win was a great thing. So for me, the match wasn't elite. It told a great story. We got to see some of my favorite performers with Hangman Adam Page and John Silver in the ring. And, Reynolds and Silver are impressing me more and more and more. You can tell they've had years of experience and chemistry with each other. And it's definitely fun to watch. We didn't really get too much TH2 shining again. This is kind of the trend. They had a few hot spot moments like last month, and then they're slowly declining, unfortunately, because we're pretty high up on TH2. We love their in-ring ability. But this match was great. What did you think about the match before we talk about what happened after the match?
Well, yeah, I'm right there with you. I think that this one wasn't elite as well. Getting into it, I think you nailed it, SPD. This was a showcase for Hangman Adam Page. I think, going into it, he was the prized recruit of the recruitment specialists, and there's a reason why. And this was a great opportunity for Hangman to showcase really what made him a tag team champion, what made him such a special underdog character going again. He was the first. I mean, we could go back to the first world championship match. It was him versus Jericho for that title. So it's a great reminder. JR talked about it tonight. He had a line that I wrote down just because it was so spot on. It just looks like Hangman has a new energy, a new focus, and that he's ready to start a new chapter. That was a line that JR had during that match. And you could tell there was an extra pep in his step. He didn't look depressed or jaded. He looked it kind of it showed in his in-ring work. It was one of those things where he had a little extra move. Like, I mean, he really was the showcase of this match.
I agree.
One of the things that you and I talked about the other team that they were paired against, TH2 and Chaos Project, and how they fit into this whole thing. I'm going to say from an in-ring perspective, I think that TH2 still very much remains relevant in the AEW tag division. TH2, from my perspective as a fan, from what I see them in the ring and what they're capable of, if you put them in a match against a team like Private Party, who's clearly AEW is tagged as a team that is on the rise, Top Flight, The Acclaimed, there's a lot of teams that TH2's style and veteran presence would do really well in making strong matchups with, right? So they serve a role in the company. I think, unfortunately, you and I both were a little geeked about, hey, this team looks like they have the chip on their shoulder. They look like they might be poised to make a little mini run. That looks like that has been cut from underneath them, but their in-ring work still is just absolutely incredible. I mean, there was a moment when Jack Evans, SPD, it was almost like a transition move. It wasn't even like that big of a moment in the match, but he did a springboard 450 splash. I mean, as a fan, you think about a 450, executing that off of the unstable top rope. And Jack makes it look smooth. He makes it look effortless. He makes it look easy. And that's why TH2, you and I are such fans of them, is just they always have a way of getting in those big moments, even if they don't feel big. This was not a match for TH2 where the company needed them to be the stars to steal the match. This was clearly about the feel-good story of the Dark Order. It was clearly about showcasing Adam Page and his integration into the Dark Order. Yet still TH2 still had moments where I, as a fan of theirs, was popping for them. Again, I was just like, holy smokes, only Jack Evans would have a springboard 450 as like just a simple transition move. I digress though. No, it absolutely was an elite for me. I think it accomplished what it needed to accomplish. Unfortunately, the ending, as you mentioned, SPD, really was the big thing that is going to stand out as what we all talk about. And I think, unfortunately, we're all a little bummed. We were left hoping and praying that the birthday wish was going to get sealed and that Adam Page was going to join the Dark Order. They sure went through a whole lot of spectacle to make this happen. And they believed it was going to be a yes, right?
That was some of the most comedic, best timing I've seen. It was absolutely perfect. It was so funny. As soon as he gets down on a knee, you see he said yes on that. The streamers go off, the dancers come out. It was just like so hilarious. It was laugh out loud funny. And oh my gosh, what better person to lead the charge of that than John Silver, honestly.
Oh gosh.
Oh my.
Well,
they really delivered with that.
Not to interrupt, but it was like during this moment, I felt like John Silver was talking to Hangman like I was talking to Thunder Rosa in our interview with her. I was just like, you're so great. You're so inspiring. You know, I was such a fan of hers. And it certainly it felt like in this moment, Silver was just having a fanboy moment for Page, seeing potentially his dream coming true of Page joining the Dark Order. Unfortunately, it did not go that way.
No.
That said, we did get the feel good moment, like you just showed. We did get the feel good moment of -1, Brody's son, kind of cutting a nice little promo at the end of the match before this proposal, where he got this is my birthday was 3 days ago, you idiot. Like that was a great line. Papers. I know you were laughing at that.
No, not the papers. I mean, because that is just some great work there. I mean, he's in good hands. He's got a lot of, obviously very, very, very tough situation for anyone to go through. But, he seems all smiles and, they're doing their best to really spread joy and love to that family. And it's fantastic. And that just goes to show how much of AEW is family. And that's just constantly what we're hearing over and over and over again of just the love of AEW as a family. And it was great. And,